Hello and welcome. So today, I think, is the 28th of April. At least that's what they say. And 2021. And I am here today because I really love to meditate. And I really want to share with you how it can maybe change your life. For whatever reason you're here, I know some of you have been meditating with me for almost a year and a half now. Others are new to the practice. And so today, because we are kind of training a group of meditation teachers, I'm going to introduce them to how I introduce beginners into meditation. My name is Sarah McLean, and I've been meditating since 1989. I started with fits and starts before that because I had unbelievable anxiety, but it finally took hold in 1989, and I was in my 20s, and so you can do the math. And now I feel like my whole life has changed. I don't recognize that young girl who was struggling with anxiety, struggling with feelings of self hatred, self loathing, and low self esteem, and a whole lot of other fun stuff to live with. Thank God I don't have to live with that now. I did find myself in some seriously abusive relationships. I also found myself in the army working to help soldiers relieve their trauma. They're dealing with post traumatic stress. The trauma that I was dealing with had nothing to do with being in the army, although that was traumatic in itself. But what the trauma was that I was dealing with was trauma from being in an unsafe environment at home. So I've been working with trauma survivors, and people like me who are in abusive relationships for many years. And what I can tell you is whether you've been physically or emotionally traumatized, whether it's been a chronic or an acute moment of trauma, we all have this resilience that we're born with. Yet when the trauma continues, it's a little harder to bounce back, like a weeble that wobbles and doesn't fall down. Sometimes trauma can be exacerbated by environmental issues like what we've been all living with for the past year and a half, and many of us continue to live with. It can re-traumatize us. So I'm so glad you're here, because one of the best ways to build your resilience muscle, to be able to switch from the fight or flight response to the rest and digest response, which is really good for your immune system, is to practice doing it. And meditation's a great practice. It's called a practice because we do it every day, just like a doctor practices medicine. She does it every day. And that's what we have to do as our practice. And what are we practicing? We're practicing bringing our attention back to whatever it is we want to put it on. So today I wanted to talk about, well, first I want to address what I've been practicing for the last week on top of my meditation. I have been practicing this affirmation. Today is the very best day of my life. Today is the very best day of my life. Now, as I told you last week, my husband says, why? Well, why? That's a great question. Why not? Would be the divergent answer. But why would be because I wake up every day. I wake up and that's it. Because I don't know about you, but as you get a little bit older, I've noticed that life is speeding by. Do you remember the last time you went on a trip, or the last time you ate in a restaurant? Or maybe you remember graduating or not from high school. I mean, time flies, and it just begins to fly because of various habits of mind. So what I decided to do is savor my life and make every single day, not make it the very best day, but claim it as the very best day of my life. What I can tell you over the last week, what's happened for me is that I see everything through a different lens. I see it as, I always believe this world is beautiful and glorious, and I'm awe-inspired because of it. But it's even more so. It's like the dial was turned up on gratitude and appreciation. So if you haven't done that yet, I'm not a Pollyanna. I'm not pretending things are all great when they're not, because sometimes they're really not great. But that doesn't make it not the best day of your life. You look back at things that didn't work out, you can see now probably that it happened for your benefit, at least in most cases. So today is the very best day of my life. And I'm so glad you're here sharing it with me. And I'm glad to be sharing your day with you. So today I wanted to start with the basics about the 3 ingredients to every meditation. And then we'll move into a basic mindfulness practice. And I'll give you some nuances that you can try or play with. So the 3 ingredients, as most of you know, really come from you. First is your intention. Why are you here today? Or why do you continue to practice? What is it that you hope to gain or sustain or include or embody? So that's the first ingredient, is the reason why. Your intention, you could call it, your sankalpa, if you like Sanskrit, your hope, your wish, your prayer. That's the first ingredient to any meditation. The second ingredient to any meditation is that which is looking through your eyes, that which is listening through your ears, that gentle presence that's living through you as you, that awareness. Some people would call it consciousness, but it's that unencumbered presence that really is you. Outside of the Leela or the play that we're all engaged in right now with the drama of our lives, there's this one who's watching. Whether you're aware of it or not, it's the real you. And we'll talk more about that in a later session. But so there's you, there's your intention or your wish. And then the third ingredient for any meditation is that which you rest your attention on. And it's usually something you either see or feel or hear. It's that object. So there's you, the subject, and there's the object that you're putting your attention on. Now, the practice is to keep coming back, keep coming back. Whether that object is charming or not, it doesn't matter, because this is the practice of training your attention to be right here, right now, to be aware of what you're paying attention to focus on one thing at a time. And while you're doing it, not losing track of the one who's paying attention. So those are the 3 ingredients in any meditation that you do, except for one, would include all 3 of those ingredients. So the one that is not including that third ingredient is what would be called an open awareness practice, which we're not going to be doing today, but just so you know, for those of you who are students in the academy. So let's talk about the basics of mindfulness. So what is it? Paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, and in the moment. And I would say without judgment, but that's almost impossible. So on purpose, in the moment, noticing that you're not judging, hopefully refraining from judging, like this is so good or this is not good, refraining from judgment. So it's a particular way of paying attention, on purpose, in the moment, and refraining from judgment. Now, on purpose would include that gentle attention that's looking through your eyes, hopefully. And I have a friend, she's also a faculty member, Christine, who says, someone who breaks into your house and robs you from all your furniture, they're mindful, aren't they? But here's what's lacking from them. They want to be mindful. They want to be here in the moment on purpose, paying attention, but they may not have that generous quality of attention, that non-judgmental, gentle attention. So I'm going to invite you through this practice to have that non-judgmental, gentle, loving, kind attention. So today, with mindfulness, we're going to be doing one of the basic mindfulness practices, which is going to be a body awareness practice. Now, I like to think of attention, and you've heard me say this before, many of you, as like a beam, like a flashlight that lights up what you're paying attention to. Whether you're looking around your room and you're looking for objects that are square or round, you'll see it. Whether you're looking outside your window, if you can, and you see movement or stillness, you'll see that too. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our attention like a beam of light into the body and outside of the body, and simply witness or attend to what is present, whether it's stillness or movement, whether it's lightness or heaviness, whether it's warmth or coolness, whether it's pressured and tight or loose, whether it's numbness or tingling. And we're going to do it like we're observing leaves moving in the trees. So we're going to do that. And what this develops is what's called interoception. Interoception is the ability to tune into the interior of your body, to tune into what's going on. Your senses are constantly focused on the external world. You're smelling, tasting, touching, seeing, and moving through the world. And what we're going to do instead is move inward to the experience of being in the body. So I'm going to welcome you here. As some of you know, we're going to be sitting for about 20 minutes. You know the 5 essentials. I'm not going to go over them in detail, but I'm going to mention them just for you if you're new. It's okay if you get distracted. Mindfulness is the muscle training of bringing your attention back. So thoughts are okay. Once you notice them, you bring them back. Be kind to yourself. Let go of expectations and welcome what's happening. Don't try to have an experience you're not having. And stick with the whole practice as I'll keep track of the time. At the end of the practice, we can stay together. You're welcome to hang out as long as you like. I sometimes play music. I'm going to go into a breakout room after a short discussion with the teachers who are in training. If you want to join me, it's not required, but I'd love to have you there. Okay, so let's get comfortable, shall we? Comfort is key with meditation. And you can gaze downward toward the floor. You can gaze with your eyes open straight ahead, or what I like to do is close my eyes. So I invite you to do that. And recognize that throughout this practice, if you need to shift your posture or need to open your eyes at any time, you can do that. There's no need to force yourself to be still. Okay, so just get comfortable and be gentle with yourself. Like I said, we'll be practicing about 20 minutes. And I will guide you into the first round, and then we might go through the body again, and I'll let us be in silence. I'll try to be quiet. So let's see how that goes. So let's get comfortable, and I'd like to start by inviting you to welcome everything that you hear. You might notice if you close your eyes or turn your attention inward through this pratyahara, you might become a little more aware of the other senses. So welcome all the sounds that you hear. And see if you can shift your attention to the sounds of the sounds, to the textures of the sounds rather than the source of the sounds. That helps to alleviate some judgment. As you begin to notice some sounds come and go, like my voice, while others seem like they're ever present. Bringing your attention a little more into your interior. Do you notice any sounds you might be hearing, perhaps of your breath or your tummy gurgling or your heartbeat? Welcome everything you hear. And now I invite you to deepen your breath, breathing in slowly and deeply through your nose at your own pace, sending a signal to your body that it's okay to relax right now, activating the parasympathetic response, the rest and digest response. Giving yourself 3 long, slow, deep breaths at your own pace. Perhaps you can hear them. And then let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Throughout this practice, you can breathe naturally. There's no need to control or regulate your breathing. So we'll begin to mindfully scan the body, reminding ourselves to be gentle and kind, especially as you might meet some areas that you wish were different or that are a little uncomfortable. So let's begin with the top of the head and tune into sensations there, perhaps some warmth or coolness. Just tuning in to the top of the head, maybe the inside, your brain, noticing sensations without judgment, welcoming everything. Bringing your attention to your forehead, softening any areas of tension that you might notice. And bringing your attention to your eyes, the dryness, the moisture, the feeling of your eyelids over your eyes. And bringing your attention to your ears, in and around your ears, inviting curiosity and kindness. In and around your nose, noticing the sensation of the breath through the nostrils, maybe as it meets your sinus cavity. And bringing your gentle attention in and around your mouth, being curious as to the sensation of your gums against your teeth, or the feeling of your lips coming together, or the tongue in your mouth. You might first begin by naming the experience, but then you might just move directly to the experience without a label. And bringing your attention to your throat, being fully present with the sensations inside your throat, your windpipe, maybe even your esophagus. You notice you're judging anything or thinking about it, move back to the direct experience. Tuning into the neck, the front of your throat, back of your neck, the strength of your neck. and whatever sensations are present. Tuning in to the shoulder girdle, lowering your shoulders, letting your arms hang comfortably. Perhaps you notice the various sensations in your forearms, your underarms, back of your shoulders. Perhaps you notice your skin, the way your clothing meets your skin. We're investigating sensations. As you bring your attention to your rib cage, the front and the back. Maybe you notice its movement. Bringing your attention to your lungs as they fill and empty. Perhaps you notice your heartbeat. And bringing your attention now to your diaphragm and your belly. Noticing its movement, softening any areas that might be tense. And tuning into the sensations in your interior without any judgment or evaluation. And bringing your attention to your lower back. Being present with what's there or here. Tuning into your hips, your pelvic girdle, your rear. Perhaps you feel some pressure where you're resting your body on the chair or the floor. Noticing those contact areas where you're being supported. Letting go of any tension. Tuning into sensations in and around your entire pelvis. Now bringing your attention to the backs of your thighs. Noticing too where they meet the chair or cushion. the sensations here. Whatever you feel is exactly right. Simply noticing the nuances of being alive. Perhaps you can tune in now to where your hands are resting on the tops of your thighs. Perhaps you notice the weight of them on your thighs, or the sensations in your hands. And journeying down your legs to your knees and bringing your attention in and around your knees with curiosity and kindness. Tune in to the body's communication, which is through sensation. And journeying down each leg, choosing one, noticing the shins and the calves, noticing the foot and the toes. Perhaps there's coolness or warmth. Perhaps there's some movement. And the other leg, the shin and the calf, the ankle and the foot, those toes. And now expand your awareness to include your entire body, this living organism, and sense your aliveness. Perhaps you feel the blood in your veins, or again tune into the breath, where you hear your heartbeat. The sovereign body. And the second time around, for the next few minutes, considering that your attention is like a beam of love, and let it rest like a kind and gentle friend on any part of your body that you tend to ignore or wish were different or have some judgment about. You might move from place to place, or you might rest on one area that's really asking for your love. So we'll do this for a few minutes, and I'll keep track of the time. And now keeping your eyes closed. Again, widen your perspective to include your entire body. Appreciating your body in this moment. Sending it an energetic love letter or a letter of appreciation. Thanking your body for being your best friend. And then I invite you to deepen your breath a little. Appreciating your ability to breathe and your body's ability to take nourishment from the air around you. Perhaps you can tune in to the light that might be coming through your eyelids before you open your eyes, or the sounds that you hear, and appreciating your ability to hear. Taking your time before coming out of meditation. Perhaps opening your eyes just a little bit, moving your body just a little bit, tuning into the sounds around you. And taking your time before you open your eyes all the way. There's no rush. Hopefully, for the rest of the day and perhaps the rest of your week, month, and life, you'll be able to appreciate your body and tune in to its signals, get to know it just a little better. So thank you for joining me today. I so appreciate being here with you on the best day of my life. And I bow to that which sees through your eyes and listens through your ears and lives through you as you. So thank you for joining me.